Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and today I want to talk about the 3 most toxic cards in Arkham Horror. What do I mean when I say toxic cards? Well, you might think of a card like You Handle This One, which is obviously a card with the potential to make somebody feel bad, but it's not my definition of toxic. What I mean is cards that warp the game space in a negative way, where you stop thinking about playing Arkham Horror properly and start thinking about how to play around that card. And while this is a top 3 list, there are really only 3 cards that even properly meet the criteria of this. They're just so standout awful that I felt like making the list. However, before I get into them, I will give an honorable mention to Mandy Thompson. Mandy Thompson is one of many characters that is incredibly strong and capable of outshining you and making you feel bad. But the difference with Mandy Thompson and someone like Rex Murphy is that Mandy Thompson doesn't have the decency to outshine you quickly. She's not going to take her turn, do way more than you ever did, and then end it in a minute. Rex is going to pull from the bag 3 times, maybe move with Pathfinder between there, maybe use a card at some point. He's very straightforward. Mandy's going to be taking multiple free actions every turn, have multiple branching decision paths every turn, and God forbid you play in reality instead of on tabletop sim, because if you are, then you'd better hope your Mandy player can shuffle their deck like a professional Dominion player, because they're going to be shuffling your deck at least once, usually twice a turn. Mandy Thompson's turns take forever, and when she's in the game with you because she's so oppressively powerful, you feel like you didn't need to be there. You spend most of your game watching her carry you. This isn't quite the same sort of toxic that I'll be talking about with these other 3 cards though, it just makes you feel very bad as a player. My 3rd most toxic card in the game goes to Delve Too Deep. If you've seen my house rules video on experience, you'll be unsurprised by this. On the surface, Delve Too Deep is a really interesting meta-scaling card. You play it, everyone draws an event, so you set yourself back in the moment, but then you put it in the victory display so you get experience in the future. And theoretically, the decision to play or not play Delve Too Deep could be an interesting point in the game. But when you start trying to play Delve Too Deep optimally, the game gets really unfun. Because the problem is that basically, no matter what situation you're in, the answer is, instead of playing the game or helping the team or progressing the act and agenda, your mystic should find Delve Too Deep. And the reason is because if you're going to lose, like if you're obviously going to lose, it'd be nice to lose with more experience. And if you're going to win, like you're obviously going to win, then it would be nice to just get free experience. So either way, at either end of the spectrum, you're playing Delve Too Deep. And in the middle, if it's unclear what's happening, is the only time it's not okay to be looking for Delve Too Deep. Which means that you have to have this decision point where you debate if you should even be looking for Delve Too Deep, because you do want it, it's very good to play it, but it's unclear if you should be digging for it because you might be affecting the outcome of the scenario. This constant dance of decision making that Delve Too Deep introduced us, where you're always thinking not about can we win, but should I be looking for Delve Too Deep, that's really my whole gripe with Delve Too Deep. It's just that it makes you stop thinking about the act and the agenda and the board, and you're just thinking about drawing and playing Delve Too Deep. That's the entirety of the meaningful decision-making process a lot of the time when you're trying to play optimally with a Delve Too Deep in the game. My 2nd most toxic card is Sharon's Opal. Sharon's Opal is easy to end up viewing as nearly auto-include in green. After all, it essentially just gives you 10 experience. But essentially boils it down and strips out the part of the card that's very toxic. See, when you get defeated with Sharon's Opal, you die. The character is scrapped, you start over from 0 experience on a different character. Now, maybe your table is like mine, and when someone picks Sharon's Opal, we all groan and laugh at them and say, you know we're going to let you die, right? But the reality is that my table is playing badly. We're making the choice to play badly. Because the optimal way to play around Sharon's Opal is the moment that someone picks that card, the game becomes a VIP escort mission where your primary objective in every mission is to make sure that person survives. Because if you randomly go into the last scenario with 40 less experience than you should have had across your group, that's a major setback. You can't let this person die. So whenever someone picks Sharon's Opal, they're gaining 10 experience, and the entire rest of the team, if they want to play well, has to constantly be thinking about how to protect that person and keep them alive. The way that Sharon's Opal is toxic isn't complicated. It's just that somebody on your team has chosen to get a massive benefit and everyone else on your team has to bear the consequences of and constantly be thinking about this other thing in the game now. However, what Sharon's Obel does is nothing compared to the raw toxicity of my number one. Green Man Medallion puts every other card to shame when it comes to toxicity. The first campaign I've uploaded on my YouTube channel is a Ginny and Lily Path to Carcosa run. I'm playing that campaign two-fisted, and I hate Green Man Medallion. I'm the person it benefits, and I hate it. I cannot imagine the salt that someone else would have if they were playing the Lily and waiting on me to stack up my Green Man Medallion. Because the way Green Man Medallion works, these other cards, Sharon's Obel makes you want to protect somebody. Delve Too Deep makes you want to draw a specific card. Both of those objectives can be done while progressing as quickly as possible for the most part. But Green Man Medallion is completely game warping. You don't care anymore about progressing the act or the agenda at all. Your goal is to get to the point where you can end the game in one turn and then sit there until you've run the Doom Clock entirely out and leave on the very last turn. The moment that you've picked this unique asset for Ginny, you've decided that every game you can, you're just going to hang out for as long as possible to generate experience, because every turn is just worth half of an experience now. Played optimally, you can get so much experience in the first three scenarios of Path to Carcosa. In the first two scenarios, I bought Double and the Black Fan for a grand total of 1 experience. And in both of those scenarios, I had to edit out 20 to 30 minutes of just hanging out, doing nothing, playing out the turns, waiting for the scenario to end. I was so fed up with it that when I got to scenario 3, I realized I could play it literally forever, because Doom doesn't progress naturally, it's only the cultist. But once you're in Act 3, you can easily teleport around the map through the passageways and kill all the cultists, and you have nothing else you need to be doing. So you can stay there forever. So yeah, in scenario 3, I could have gotten 60 resources on my Green Man Medallion, bought Green Clock level 5 for free. And I just couldn't do it. As the person benefiting from it, it is still so toxic and so boring that I've just stopped caring. If someone wanted to play optimally with the Green Man Medallion, it would ruin any campaign. And I say this as the person playing it right now. I can't imagine how upset I would be if somebody was playing it alongside me and I was just waiting for them. Because then not only does every scenario go an extra 30 minutes as we wait for that person to get all their experience, not only am I potentially risking trauma for the benefit of their character, but their character would be getting so much free experience. As of the start of scenario 5 in my Path to Carcosa, my Ginny has like 56 experience to my Lily's 29. Ginny has generated almost as much experience as the actual campaign from Green Man Medallion. I would be so upset if I was constantly stressed out about trauma, wasting my time, so that somebody else's character could have twice as much experience as mine and then carry me and make me feel irrelevant. And now that I'm at the end of the list, I think I can more concisely say what a toxic card is in my mind. It's a meta-scaling card that warps the way you play the game. Arcane Research and Down the Rabbit Hole are meta-scaling cards, but they don't warp the way you play the game, they're fine. They warp the way you build your deck, and a lot of people complain that Mystics have boring deck building, but Mystics are still playing Arkham Horror. Except for when they're trying to draw Delve Too Deep, then they're playing Delve Too Deep. Or if their green partner has Sharon's Obel, in which case they're playing Protect the Green character, and God forbid that green character is Jenny Barnes and she took her unique asset, because then it's Protect the Green character for as long as physically possible, because we need to farm more experience with Green Man Medallion. But generally speaking, Mystics are still playing Arkham Horror, and that's why most meta-scaling assets aren't a problem. It's only when they warp the way that you play the game that it becomes a serious issue. Anyway, that's it for now. If you think there's something I've missed, something more game warping and toxic than the cards I've been talking about, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Speaking of, like, comment, subscribe, really helps the channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one.